This is Victoria, and she's a real estate agent who's been struggling to create content for the longest time ever. She didn't know what she should be doing, and she didn't have a proper strategy in place. And a part of a new series that I'm creating, I'm inviting real estate agents and helping them build a step-by-step strategy on what they should be doing to build a proper personal brand and acquire clients through their social media. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right. What's your name and where are you from?
I am Victoria Leffler from LA, now in Dubai.
Amazing. And now, how long have you been in Dubai now for?
About 3 years.
3 years. Okay. What did you do before coming here?
I worked in luxury resort sales in California up until the pandemic hit.
All right.
And then got my real estate license in California.
What is luxury resort sales? Like, you're selling resorts?
Not selling the resorts itself, but like full buyouts, weddings, corporate events, things like that.
Okay. So these would be inside the events,
yeah.
Right? And then you do the actual sales. So cold calling or?
A bit of cold calling, a bit of inbound leads.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. And then what made you jump into real estate? Why was that the career path?
My whole family has been in real estate in one sense or another. So it's something that I kind of fought in the beginning.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go down the same path as my family, but when COVID hit and I was starting to kind of reassess what I was going to go into next, it was the most natural thing for me. I've always had a passion for design and architecture and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, awesome. And then how did you go from real estate in LA to real estate in Dubai?
Like everybody else, came here on vacation, fell in love with Dubai, realized that unfortunately California and the market in the US is not what it once was. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw how things are in Dubai and the safety, security, all of these things that drew me into Dubai, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Right. So you've been here for 3 years. And how long did you do real estate in LA for?
I've been licensed since 2019.
Cool. So almost 7 years.
Yeah.
All right. So technically 7 years in real estate.
Yeah.
Right. And you said your parents did also, or your family did real estate. So real estate sales, development, both?
My mom's now on the mortgage side, but my mom, my aunt, even my dad has developed some properties themselves. So kind of the whole array of real estate.
Yeah.
Somebody in my family has done every part of it.
Got you. All right. And then have you made any content before?
No.
Right.
No,
so
I have not.
This is your first time making content, right? Well, there you go, right? Why haven't you created content?
Why have I not? Honestly, the majority of what I see now, I personally find a bit cringe, especially in Dubai. Mm-hmm. I feel like what I've seen, and I've talked to some people who run social media accounts and I've had meetings with them, and I feel like what I've seen just doesn't align with me and my brand and who I am.
If I can cut you off there, the people you've met in terms of, you mean like people like what I do?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, keep going.
I think a lot of it is like, especially in Dubai, it's the, I'm leaving my Birkin and my, car to my G-Wagon on the street and look how safe it is. And I don't find that to be useful for selling real estate. Mm-hmm. So I've not really figured out my path as far as how do I navigate starting social media, doing it in a way that feels genuine to me.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a focus on a target audience that you sell to?
So I have transitioned more to a buyer's agent.
Okay.
Which also kind of brings a bit of a complication because it's not your typical showcasing a listing and things like that that I would be doing on social media. But yeah, my target audience, I guess, is buyers, whether it's off-plan, secondary. I kind of handle everything but on the buyer side.
Got you. You've just mentioned that you can't, content that you see online you don't really enjoy. Is there some kind of content that you do enjoy?
I would say what I have seen is more like lifestyle and informative rather than like the typical Dubai trying to go viral, comparing developers to how much money somebody has, things like that.
Yes. Okay. Can I be the devil's advocate here?
Absolutely.
All right. And I'm not saying whether it be right or wrong. I'm just giving you a different perspective, right? What we see happening is there's a difference between somebody who's trying to get attention and then knows what to do with the attention, and somebody who's just, they don't know what they're doing and they're just copying the hype.
Sure.
Right? And so what I've seen happen is there is the type of guys who create the content, which compare developers, blah, blah, blah. They get the attention and then they keep making more of that. And then you have the other guys who, they see a trend, they follow it, they get the attention, and then they immediately shift that into informative, valuable content, which at the end of the day does perform a lot better than if somebody were to just give value all the time, right? Because if you were to give value all the time, I always say, if you have no attention, it's like giving value to a wall. No matter how much value you give, you're still talking to a wall, right? So that's like a little bit of a perspective that we could put over there. If you were to close your eyes and imagine your own content, how would that look like?
Oh, that's a good question. Something elevated. Something that, yes, I can understand playing into the virality to get attention, but something that is just feels more genuine to me. So a little bit more classy, I would say, not so low end, not trying to make any digs, but something that's more elevated and something that connects with who my buyers are, which typically tend to be I would say my age range for most of my clients is probably 35 to 60. They're not younger people for the most part who are sitting scrolling TikTok and Instagram and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. And any specific nationality that they are usually?
Most of them are American, French actually, and Singapore would be the top 3 countries for me.
Because I was gonna ask you, why don't you make content that's tailored towards the US and Americans? Because being an ambassador is the easiest way to stand out with content, because now everybody's copying each other, right? And so there's 2 types of people that we see succeed the most. One of them is a community expert because they're selling a specific community which is unique to them. And then the other one is focusing on a specific demographic. So whether it be UK individuals, which has now been like milked to the max, right? French, American, Canadian, Australian. And when we focus on a specific country, it actually does way, way better. From your experience, what's the US mentality about Dubai?
I would say more often than not, and this situation isn't helping things, but you look at the majority of Americans, a lot of whom have never even left the country and don't have a passport. The second you say Dubai, it's, oh my God, you live in Afghanistan. Like, are you allowed to drive? So getting them to, invest or even come for a trip can be a bit hard. But with that being said, there are plenty of them who do understand the Dubai concept, maybe have been here on vacation and they're a bit more exposed to it. But I would say the toughest thing with Americans and that market is getting past that stereotype that Dubai has.
And that includes the higher end audiences from those?
Yes and no. I would say it depends on what state they're coming from. There are states that are a bit more open-minded. If you talk about the South, no, good luck. It doesn't matter how much money they have. It's just they're stuck in their ways and, it will never be an option.
What about LA?
LA is a lot more open to it. Okay. I would say the main states that my clients are from are California, Texas, a few from Texas, Florida, New York, the East Coast. Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, I have some clients from New York and California. So I think I understand the mentality that they have a bit. So I think there is definitely some kind of audience there for you.
Yep.
Especially, I don't know if you've explored this, partnerships there.
That's actually something I've been doing the last few months.
Okay.
Before this conflict happened. I have quite a few. And being here, I also have clients who come to me. They're like, you're the only American we know in Dubai. I have a property in Miami. Can you help me sell it? So I've been working with agents throughout the US and building those relationships. Yeah. That's something that I've started in the last few months.
Perfect. You go to LA often or?
As of now, I've gone home 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
I'd like to be going home more, truthfully.
Yes.
I think ideally I'd like to bridge the gap between LA and here.
Yes.
And spend a bit more time in both.
All right. And an idea that we can explore further when we sit down, collaborating with agents who are already making content in California.
Yep.
Right. Will bring you a lot of audiences from there with an open mindset, especially if you paired it with the right type of content that you're making here.
Okay.
Right. Because like you said, they're sort of uninformed investors.
Yep.
Right. So you have uninformed and then informed and then sort of ready to buy. Right? And then the uninformed, they just have a mindset that's completely wrong. You got to break that. And the only way you break something is by showing, not saying. Right? And then once you do that, you collaborate with them over there, with the agents over there, you gather the attention that they have, which is borrowed interest. So you're using their audience, borrowing it. Then they watch the content, get informed, then they reach out to you, get ready to buy, and then they come over here.
Makes sense.
Right? Makes sense? Cool. So I think I have the answers that I need. So if you'd like to join me,
Absolutely.
we can actually build a strategy.
Let's do it.
Okay, so time for us to actually build you a brand strategy. Okay.
Perfect.
So we'll go over a couple of things. First one, the mindset towards content. All right. Just as you said, the US people have a mindset towards Dubai. I sense that there is a mindset towards content from your side.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so we're then gonna go over brand identity, because obviously you wanna be genuine, but just as we just said off screen, you don't really know what is genuine to you. There isn't really a pinpointed thing.
I know who I am as a person, and I know who I am with my clients.
Yes.
But it's figuring out how to translate into that. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And that's something that we need to figure out. And then we'll go over your target audience, understand who they are exactly, and then reverse engineer what they need.
Okay.
Cool. And then you'll figure out your content pillars. So that's exactly where, as you just said, translating it into content, it needs specific structures. So we'll go over those structures. We'll go over your bio real quick, or your Instagram profile. It's like what we call a quick win. Just fixing that real quick will make things way better.
Okay.
All right, so profile optimization. And then we'll make you a quick 3-month plan for you to actually go out and start making content.
Amazing.
Okay? If all these 6 pair up with you, you have to promise me you go out and you make some content.
Yes.
Okay?
You have my promise.
All right, so we'll start with mindset. A big part of what you were saying is you don't like the content you see on social media today.
Correct.
Right? Everybody's doing the same exact thing. Everybody's copying each other. Well, the point of social media in the first place is to stand out, to be different. So just because everybody's doing something online, right? Why is that repelling you against content itself?
That's a great question.
Right?
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with?
Yes, I do.
Right? And so if everybody's going right and you're saying, I don't want to go that way, why don't you just go the opposite way? Because what I'm saying from you is like, you know what? Everybody's going right. I don't want to even take the road.
Yeah. And that's actually a really good point, because I typically am the person, if everyone is going right, I do go left. I think I've just not had any clear path for social media and know how to navigate this. Like my Instagram has always just been bits of my personal life, and I've never really felt the need until lately to transition into a professional sense. Yeah. So yeah, that does make sense.
Fair enough. So when it comes to your content, so I just want to know what your perspective is on social media in the first place. What do you expect social media will do?
I think in regards to professional sense, it needs to be somewhat of your resume and your credibility. Without it, like, who are you?
Yes.
I can speak about the deals I've done and stuff, but it should be a little bit of like a resume in a sense, I think.
Right. And then let's say you post content for 6 months a year. What do you think the main value you get from content is?
I mean, I think it would be growing the audience, right? And broadening, like right now I'm relying on referrals primarily in the outreach that I do. So it would be hopefully a little bit more of passive
So
inbound leads.
What I'm trying to get with this is a lot of people think that content does the sales in a sense, right? Even though content doesn't. And when they put the end goal as sales, they get discouraged from what content actually does.
Sure.
Right? And so what I mean by that is if you had like a sales cycle, right? Usually you get the lead here in his level of confidence with purchasing, and then you need to do the rest, right? All content does is shorten this entry point. And so at this point, he comes in and messages you from here, and you just gotta do that last part.
Yep.
The issue with this as well is even when people understand this concept, the type of content they create for some reason ends up being only about the last kick home. And the last kick home can include what projects to go for in the first place, right? It could include a specific payment plan for a project as well. It could include a property tour, right? All these kind of salesy videos, or even really in-depth value content, right? And what I mean by really in-depth here is it still has a salesy perspective, if that makes sense.
It does.
Right? Yet the whole point of it in the first place is to get the person from uninformed to informed.
Yeah.
Right? And to do that, you need to go through different phases. First of all, you need to get their attention, introduce who you are, what you do, credibility, trust, introduce the market, introduce different sort of do's and don'ts, right? And then give value. And then at that point, they will reach out to you. And then at that point, you can then go into the deep analytical things. Because if you give everything beforehand, what are you leaving for the sales calls?
Yeah.
Right? And so it would just be a repetition of what you did in the content, which is nothing really new. And so people pretty much forget this whole aspect, if that makes sense. Right?
It does.
Right? And so don't get me wrong, the value part, or like the deep value part, has its time and place. However, it is not the purpose of your brand. Like being known as somebody who's deep and understands the market is not the same as somebody who makes content that's deep and understands the market.
Sure.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So the brand can be built that you are that, but without really doing that in every single video or in every part.
Got it. Yep.
Make sense? All right. What other, is there like anything about social media as well that's making you, not create content?
Outside of that, no. I think it's really just finding my lane, I guess, and the best way to execute that.
Yeah.
Once that's in place, then no.
Cool. So, first of all, do you agree with what I just said?
I do. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, actually.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you just let me know. I'll clear things up.
No, I do. And I think a lot of it, like you said, there's stuff that has to be left until you've already built that relationship with somebody, especially when it comes to selling and figuring out what their specific needs are.
Yeah.
Anything I post, I mean, it could work for everybody or nobody.
Yeah.
More likely nobody, right? Because you don't know their exact situation. So that makes a lot of sense.
Perfect. Awesome. So the next thing is your target audience. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we had a brief talk about it. You said 35 to...
Probably 60. 60s.
In the 60s, okay. And, well, they're mostly US based. Or like,
I would say a third of it is people who are already here in Dubai that have been referrals from past clients. I'd say 25% from the US, and then the rest from, again, France, Singapore, some Hong Kong, some UK.
If you were to say the people you connect with the most?
Probably from the US, yeah.
Right, US based, or like US clients.
Yeah.
Okay. Lovely. So I'll show you like a little thing that I do with people, and it sort of broadens the mindset a little bit.
Okay. You
said when we were standing there that the content that you see online a lot of the times don't resonate with people at their 35s or in their 60s.
Correct.
Right? I'm not talking about this content, but I'm talking about when you make your content. Why do you think you only need to cater to them?
I don't, and that's actually exactly why I know that I need to. I know that I've only got my little pod of people, but I'm missing a huge demographic.
They're on socials, by the way. Like, a lot of them are on socials. Like we've seen deals, tens of millions of dirham deals closed directly from social media. Like the person says, "Hi," and they talk in their own way, but then you ask them, "Where did you see us?" And TikTok.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But something also that you might not realize is these people are not individuals who sit alone in a cave. Right?
Sure.
They've got kids, they've got a family, they've got barbers, they've got friends, they've got, everybody around them. And if you're able to target those people, they'll take you in.
Makes sense.
And so if your target audience is right here, which is this one, right? You'll have another circle above them, which is their family and close friends. Right? You'll have another circle above them, which is their colleagues or their acquaintances, right? And then you have another circle above them, which is just, workers, whatever it is, like people who kind of know them, right?
Yeah.
And so the more higher end that client is, right, the further away from them you need to start.
Okay.
Right, so let's say I'm trying to target a billionaire. Right, let's say I want to reach Elon Musk right there. I want to sell him a property. Right. Theoretically, what I need to do is I need to find his family, and then go a bit further, who's his friends, and then go a bit further, who's the friends' families, and then find something in common with one of the friends' families' traits that I can connect with them, and then they will work there. I will work with my way in to him.
Okay.
Right? And so with your content over a broader kind of image, it should be doing this. So you would need to sort of reverse engineer who the US audience in the 35 and their 60s have around them. If that makes sense.
Yes, this does.
Right? And so I'm guessing somebody in his 60s probably deals a lot with, do you guys, Roth IRA?
Yeah, so actually the majority of my outreach now is LinkedIn.
Yeah. Right.
I have found much more serious buyers through LinkedIn than anything.
Yeah.
And my target is actually wealth managers, talent managers, things like that.
There you go.
So that opens me up to their sphere, obviously.
Right. LinkedIn is perfect for this, but so is Instagram.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I have 2 life insurance brokers in Michigan who are my clients, right? And they target 50, like, you know, like people in their 50s and their 60s, and they get like 5 leads a day from Instagram.
Wow, okay.
You're right. And the way they do it is by, again, finding pain points, broadening the scope of who this person is connected to, and just putting a seed in their minds. Make sense?
Yep.
And so if you were then to say these people are wealth managers, and so we'll reverse engineer it, all right? So wealth managers, right? I'm guessing a lot of them also deal with a ton of taxes, so they get a lot of tax lawyers involved, right? What else would they be doing or interested in, or what kind of professions would be around them?
Like accountants, things like that. They're
accountants. Because you know what the best thing you could ever have is if you make a piece of content that's giving value for taxes in the US. It has nothing to do with here, right? And then one of them sees it, forwards that video to his tax lawyer. The tax lawyer watches it and agrees with it, and then tells him, yeah, she's right. And then he then watches more of your content, sees that you do real estate, and then the seed is there.
Got it.
Seems a bit far-fetched, but when you do it with a lot of people, it does happen all the time.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Can't be direct. What other thing do they necessarily focus on or like work on? Is there anything else?
I'd say that's the bulk of it, but then you also have like the corporate side. So like the business managers who handle the actual business side rather than like personal wealth.
Perfect. So business managers. All right. Now, do these people really care about politics there? No? Yes?
Some, I mean, the US is very divided.
Right, yeah, they are, right? So it is a controversial topic there.
Yes.
Right, okay. So politics over here is like sort of a divider.
Yeah.
Okay, this is your easiest way in.
Okay.
All right, and
the most controversial.
Yes. I can already tell that you don't like that.
I have, from day one, steered away.
Yes.
I have clients who think I'm one way and I'm really another, and they think it's, you know, I try to stay away from that. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to pigeonhole myself with people who only vote the same way I do. So I tend to stay away from it.
Doesn't need to actually say what you stand for, in a sense.
Okay.
Keep it open-ended.
Got it.
Right? Let them debate with each other.
Okay.
Right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if somebody's Democratic, Republican, whatever, blah, blah, blah. These 80% of them who can afford to do business, they don't care who they're going to do business with as long as the other person can handle their business.
Correct.
Right? The only ones who are going to debate are the ones who are not your target audience in the first place.
It's so true.
right? And that's good. Let them debate. They will drive you to
engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they will take you by your hand to your target audience, leave you at the door, and say bye.
Okay.
Right? And so I think this is the easiest way you can tap into the US market back home and have a lot of engagement. I'm not saying every piece of content needs to be like that, but if you were to just state facts, you want it to be facts and numbers and data, talk about facts and numbers and data. Talk about how much cost of living has increased over the past term, or what New Yorkers are facing with taxes now, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So if you just keep it open-ended, then what's going to end up happening is people are going to debate, you're going to reach your target audience, and then they will agree with you, and then they're going to ask you, the key question is, what do we do? And then you're going to come back with the golden chance and the golden opportunity of, there's a tax-free haven somewhere in the Middle East.
Yes.
Right? I know you know nothing about it. You have this bad image about it, but imagine you don't need tax lawyers here. Well, you do, because you need back home, because
Yes.
you still pay taxes
Yes,
there, but you
exactly.
can, right? But it pretty much gives them the solution to all of their issues.
Okay.
This makes sense,
It does.
right? Would you feel like that's a road for you to go in?
I think it could be a road.
I get that. No, but honestly, like, if you were to make a piece of content, like I told you, where you're just, again, talking about US politics in an open-ended sense,
Yeah.
right? Just pointing up the holes and the regulations, the wrong things that can pretty much be, for the lack of a better word, fucking the person up, in the US.
Yeah.
And they will be looking at you for a solution, right?
Yep.
Cool. And honestly, from a US perspective, from everybody I've dealt with, this is the easiest road there, because it's the easiest one to get attention with.
Okay.
Right? And you don't need to be, I support this or do that. In no way, shape, or form am I saying this. It's just all about mentioning, just being the person who plants the seed.
Sure.
Right? But, it's like, hey, if you go, for example, if you literally just compare owning a property in New York compared to LA, I'm sure the price difference will be huge and how much you're paying on, right? And then at the end, be like, well, is any of them either worth it anymore? And then just keep it open-ended, and then people in the comments will debate between you two, and then some people will be like, well, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any, both of them are horrible. What do we do? Right? And then you come in with the golden opportunity, which is, hey, Dubai.
Yep. Okay.
All right. But overall, in general, with your target audience, I would definitely recommend that you stick to 35 and 60s. Find out what they like, find out their pain points, find out their issues. Use something that can connect with them. In that case, honestly, it is politics. Otherwise, what can you really talk to somebody who's in their 30s to 60s about? Like, is there anything that really interests them from a business perspective?
I mean, when it comes to business, the main point is making money, is it not?
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, but doesn't everybody talk to them about the same thing, right? At a certain
Yes.
point, if you're a millionaire or something, everybody's going to come to you and say, I can make you money. Yeah, stand in line.
Sure. Okay.
Right? I feel like these guys need somebody who's more, as you said, in-depth, more sophisticated. And I feel like if you share a sophisticated side, that might not have to do really with, hey, I'm going to make you money immediately, but it can still relate to it, then they're more open to listening.
That makes sense.
Makes sense, right? So you just befriend them, and then they'll come to you in a sense.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So this is your target audience.
Got it.
Yeah? All right. Pain points will obviously always be the same: safety, taxes, weather in LA is great, right? So it doesn't really,
Yeah.
you can't really,
Can't really
talk about
no.
that there. But these are like basics. These are your basic videos. Always mention taxes in some way. You always mention safety in some way, shape, or form. I would also do news hopping,
Okay.
which is if anything happens in LA that's crazy, I would just bam, immediately. So what we did, so when the situation happened here and the sheikhs went to the Dubai Mall, we immediately filmed a video about that, and it has 30 million views.
Wow. Okay.
Right? It's just borrowed interest.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just say, I don't know, like some kind of celebrity dies there from shooting or some shit.
So bad.
I know, it's horrible, but like you could come from a place of like, this is why I left. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that is the stuff that's happening in California is, in my opinion, gotten so bad that that's a lot of the reason why I left. Homelessness, drugs, everything else.
Have you faced things yourself?
So I lived in Santa Barbara for 14 years. We've had mudslides. I lived through a mass shooting. Like, I've had kids or friends who have children who have told me the school is locked down. I'm trying to go get my kid because there's an active shooter on campus. It's just not what it once was. Like, the street I grew up on in LA, where, you know, when I was younger, I'm almost 35, so I'm putting my age out there, but it was a time where our parents would say, go play outside until the street lights come on, come home. They had no idea where we were. We'd be 10 blocks away at the like corner shop, you know, riding around on our bikes. There was a family shot and killed on the corner that I grew up in that used to be extremely safe. Like, they were walking to their place of worship and in broad daylight, shot and killed. So for me, I kind of got to the point where, yes, I've lived through things personally. I've had friends at concerts that were shot, like had mass shootings. I got to the point where I was waking up every morning, opening my phone and seeing the worst news you could ever see. And the anxiety that you have every day of like, what else? What hospital is going to get shot up? What school is going to get shot up? Who's going to get robbed? You know, like, it just was enough for me. And I saw Dubai as the complete opposite, which it is.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, like, I know that we are kind of born and raised with the mentality of like the US is the best place to be, the American dream. But once you get outside the borders of the US, you realize that like what we've accepted as normal should not ever be considered normal.
Right. Why don't you make videos about these personal stories?
Yeah, I could.
I think that what you've just said is genuine. You've got like 5-6 pieces of content from what you just said. Each one of them can be pieces of content. I feel like if you connect with people also in an emotional sense, right? Because you have both sides, the side of, hey, numbers, data, you know, this is your issue, this is that, this is why Dubai makes sense, etc., etc. But then you also have this emotional side where I've lived through this is what happened, you know, this is why I left, and this is what I'm in right now. And that core messaging will connect with a lot of people, because I'm sure a lot of people agree with that in the US, and a lot of people don't know what alternatives there are. 70% of people don't have passports.
It's an insane amount. I mean, I know that the last few years, more Americans than ever have started leaving and relocating from the US. But yeah, I mean, the majority, like, their only trip is to the Grand Canyon. Like, it's,
Fair.
you know.
I get that. Okay, so I feel like here you have something. So content pillars now, right? This is where it's extremely interesting, because this is genuine content that you can actually go out and make today. So first of all, personal stories, right? And if you genuinely, by the way, like, do you agree with that? You feel like those would fit you?
Yeah, I mean, they are, at the end of the day, they're all things that
you've been through.
Yeah.
Right? You're fine sharing them.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So personal stories, and the point and the goal of personal stories is very simple. It's fine, yeah. Well, all right, personal stories. So the whole point of personal stories is to connect emotionally, right? It's not salesy, it's value, but hidden inside a fairy tale in a sense. So you know how when you're a kid and they want to teach you morals, they would do it in like stories, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right? So you put it in a story, and then the story has like some moral output to it, right? Of course, in all your content, the moral or the concept is relocate, or like move to Dubai, or move your assets to Dubai, right? Now that can be shown in many different ways, whether it be directly, indirectly, through stories, through emotional touch points, through leaving an open-ended question where they would themselves fill in the blank with Dubai, right? It's just anything except straight up salesy, hey, come buy this.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the worst thing you could possibly... You could do that on stories, Instagram stories. That helps, but for content, not. All right, so you have personal stories, and then you have here... No, you don't like it, but if it's division grabbing content, right? And by division here, I mean you divide what the wealthy agree on and what the middle class.
Sure, yeah.
Trying to find another word. Right. And so the whole point of that is to connect with clients. So connect with your actual ideal client audience, and you do that through division, and you divide yourself. You divide between those guys and all the others, right? And your favorite, because I already know that that's like, you know, value-driven content. And this one does not have to really target those audiences or build a connection with them, because at that point you already got them. Now it's just all about numbers, data. Actually, okay, so Victoria, I know who you are. I relate to you. I feel the same way. Glad we're on the same page. Dubai is a possibility. Break it down. What's there, right? And so here's the type of content where it's like literally more detailed breakdown of what they should expect, right? And then your last piece of content, which is the least one, is, I don't even call it salesy content anymore. I call it opportunity content.
Okay.
So this is like one-time offer. Something you really believe in. You've been connecting with them for quite a while. Well, step one is if you've gathered them, you've connected with them, you've given them a breakdown. They're quite literally begging you right now for an offer. What should we go for? You're like, you know what? I rarely come here. I rarely try to sell you. There is this one-time thing that I really believe in, and I think you should go for it.
Okay, so question for you with this part. When it comes down to my clients, like there are projects in Dubai, let's say off plan, right?
Yeah.
There's projects that I love for a personal reason that resonate with me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I've got to sit down with my clients, have a consultation with them, figure out where they're at within their investment journey.
Yeah.
What they're looking for at the end of the day, and then I can guide. So how do you navigate that? Because I think Dubai especially has so many agents who scream from the top of a mountain, this is the best project.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what your client's needs are.
Yes.
So how can you?
You identify that by whenever you're recording for the opportunity, in the beginning of the video, you identify who that opportunity is for.
Okay.
Right? Because you can only be one of a couple of types of buyer. There will be a first-time buyer, somebody who's looking for ROI, somebody who's looking for capital appreciation, high risk, low risk, big developers, boutique developers, waterfront, mainland. And so you identify who this is for first, and then you find that out by looking at who you've gathered the most. And so when you do that, you might find out that you're getting like 6-7 messages every couple of days from first-time buyers.
Okay.
And so now you are full of first-time buyers, right? And then you realize that there's a pattern. Okay, well, 80% of those guys are first-time buyers. This is a very good opportunity for them because they will probably have a lower-end budget, want some more flexible payment plans, want security. So this developer is offering X, Y, and Z with a very flexible payment plan. So in the beginning of the video, it's like, if you're a first-time buyer, or like you can start with like, I get tons of first-time buyers asking me for that. If you are a first-time buyer and you need something that's flexible from a high-end developer, then this is the opportunity for you. And so you've already labeled them and labeled who it's for. And so they can message you. And by the way, not necessarily when they message you that they buy this one. You can then talk to them and be like, actually, that doesn't make sense for you.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yep.
Makes sense? Do you agree with these types of content that you create?
Yes. Yes.
Something missing?
No. I do agree with it.
Right? Okay. And so this one comes from you, right? It's genuine. Again, this one comes from asking an open-ended question, or just, in the US is such an easily divided country.
Yeah.
If you just say, I like LA, some guy from Texas will come and say, oh no.
Yeah.
And so you just literally say anything and they'll find. And then detailed breakdown is what you've said. You don't like what everybody online is doing. So you can sit them down and tell them numbers, data, analytics. Here's what we're seeing. Here's what's happening. Straight up facts.
Okay.
Right? And don't be afraid to bash a little bit, because that's the whole point. The whole point is that you have a different opinion to everybody else. And so things I don't like to do on videos is I don't like to say, I think, or in my personal opinion. These are all safety words. It's like, you have the right to think what you want. No. I'm confident of what I'm doing. All right, you're wrong. I don't like what you're saying. Here's the truth.
Okay.
Okay? And when you do that, then you'll have the people who just like, oh, no, I don't agree with you. But then you have the people who is, yes, that's the person I want fighting for me in my, with my money. But if you say, I think in my personal opinion, then you're not gaining interest from, none of them really care because the other one thinks you're weak and the other one really doesn't care because you're not really attacking or standing your ground. 3 types of content. You're gonna make them?
Yes.
All right, you like them?
Yes, I do.
It's extremely important, honestly. And if I would say it's like 10% of the time, and then not much at all, honestly, like 15 to 20%.
Okay.
All right, and then I would equally split the rest. So if it's like 20%, 30, then you have like 35 and 35.
Okay.
Right.
And do you think that I hear both sides and I understand both sides. Like, let's say my Instagram that I've had up a million years.
Yeah.
Do I start a new page? Do I use my existing page? If it is my existing, how much is like my actual personal content compared to business? What's your...
Yeah. So now you need to understand the business of Instagram in the first place.
Okay.
Okay. So Instagram is a platform that wants to make, like us, money. How do they make money? Through ads. How do they get ads? Through making sure they have active users. How do they make sure they have active users? By promoting, right, creators they trust. Because if that creator they trust, he is able to keep the audience or she is able to keep the audience, therefore they have users in the platform, which means people would want to run ads to these people, which means these people pay money, which means Instagram makes money, right?
Yeah.
So that's the cycle. Now, who does Instagram trust? First of all, they need to make sure that the person has been existing for long.
Okay.
Right? The person is active. The person is consistent. And the person, most importantly, keeps attention.
Okay.
Right? So if I was a new account, I've got nothing, zero. So if I were to create content, they don't trust me yet. So they need me to create content for a longer period of time, right? And before they give me even a little bit of attention, they're gonna wanna see my activity, my consistency, and how long I've been doing it for. Then they'll give me attention, and then if I can keep the attention, then they're gonna trust me.
Okay.
So if you were to just use the account that you already have, you've already had it for quite a while. Mm-hmm. Your consistency is off. You use it, you text people, you like other people's content, you watch their stories, so you're active. Mm-hmm. All you gotta do now is
be consistent.
Be consistent.
Okay.
Once you do that, they'll give you attention, and then they can trust you. Okay. Now, did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's actually very helpful. Yeah, it's very helpful. Okay.
And so I would recommend just revamping the profile you already have, and then include it within your personal stories content. You can have your own actual personal lifestyle content. Because then people will watch it and be like, oh, cool.
And what do you think the split should be between like professional and personal?
20% of the pictures and lifestyle, and I wouldn't go higher than that. Okay. Right. So if I'm posting 10 videos and / pictures, 1 or 2 of them will be, like me with my friends or with my family or something like that. Okay. Right? Not more, because then it would be too much of that. Sure. Right? Answered it? Yeah. Helpful. Right. Thank you. Cool. And then if I were to ask you, how many pieces of content do you think you need to make a month?
Oh, God. Maybe like 4 a week. Okay. 3 to 5 a week?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty bang on.
And is that like on your grid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And so the minimum consistency that you would require is 15 videos a month. Right? Cool. And from that, then you divide it into the content pillars that we said, which is personal stories, division content, and then value driven. Mm-hmm. And then like once in a while, the opportunity. And then on top of that, you can then add pics / lifestyle. Okay. Right. So that's not included in that. Right. Per month, whatever, like 4 maybe max. Right. So 4 extra pieces of content that's like pictures and lifestyle type content.
Okay.
Right? And then the most important thing here is you got to be consistent. A big mistake I see people make is that they overthink the 15 videos too much and they take way too many hours to record them and they get burnt out. Right? If I were to ask you, how long do you think you would take to make 15 videos?
Oh, Jesus, like 5 days.
Right. Shouldn't take you more than 2 hours.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Because that will burn you out.
Yeah. I don't have time for that, to be honest.
It will burn you out, right? So it's like, you shouldn't care about, like, for example, when we were setting up, he was like, oh, there's a little fingerprint. I was like, nobody cares.
Okay.
All right? Because if you think about that too much, you're going to get annoyed at yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to, oh, no, I need to redo this. The easiest and best method is put the camera up, talk, struggle, it's fine. People like that. That's what being authentic means.
Yeah.
Right? Don't script shit. It's
Okay.
not gonna look good. Just understand what you want to say and why you're saying it, and what's the core message behind it, and then free flow it.
Okay.
You'll struggle in the beginning. That's completely fine. I have people who come to me and they say, oh yeah, will you be handling scripts? I go like, look, I can write you a script, it'll be like an extra offer. I'll be like, yeah, I'll write you a script. I will, but I won't use them. Because then I'll just, if you can't speak in front of the camera, then you'll be paying me for no reason. I tell them. It's as simple as that, right? You'd be like, you're wasting your money on me.
Makes sense.
Because no matter what I do, no matter what anybody can do, if we script it, it's gonna be fake. And that's the main thing that you see online. And that's why you feel like everybody's just copying each other, because everybody's scripting.
Yeah, a lot of it feels like...
No, it's all good.
I haven't heard one of those in like 4 days.
Well, that was a good 4 days.
Welcome to Dubai.
Welcome to Dubai. Still better than LA.
Right? So at least it's not a mass shooting.
I feel like a lot of what I do see, it feels like they're literally reading ChatGPT.
Because they are reading ChatGPT. Do you know how many times I get messages from my own clients saying, I want to record this, and it's a ChatGPT script?
Yeah, that I find extremely cringe.
Yeah, and that is the main thing that everybody else does.
Okay.
Right? And so you want to be natural.
Yeah.
All right? And one thing that you said, you want to be classy, which is old money. Mm-hmm. Right? That is very simple to do. Basic editing, just normal text in the middle.
Okay.
Right? It will all come down to how you present yourself in terms of the way you dress, the way you speak. Right? Because an old money person doesn't speak too fast. Right? They're more relaxed. Mm-hmm. Right? And they don't necessarily talk directly to the camera.
Correct.
Right? So as a matter of fact, what I would recommend is a friend, a family member, whatever, and then you have the concept, the idea of what you want to do, and then you talk to them about it.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And so you just prepare the first line, which is your hook, and then from that point on, you can free flow things.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make you a 3-month plan so you can go ahead and create content.
Awesome.
All right.
Let's go.
Month 1, month 2, month 3. 15 videos on each. All right. The easiest split you can literally go for, which is about 3 videos that are division content, and then you'll do 5 that are personal stories, 5 that are value driven, and then you're gonna keep 2 for lifestyle. Sorry, not lifestyle, but 2 for. As a matter of fact, you won't even do anything here because that's your first month. So you'll literally just do 6, 6, and oh yeah, it is 3, right? Yeah. So you'll do 3 division, 6 personal, 6 value, no opportunities. And you're gonna do that for the second month as well,
Okay.
right? And then the third month is where you can then add like 2 opportunity videos,
Okay.
right? And here is like where you're like saying, hey, you know, this is a good opportunity and I would recommend that you go for it. Right. Now, do you know how to film?
No.
Right? Because all this, like, it's like, okay, well, how am I gonna film myself, right? Literally, the easiest thing that I would tell you to do is this. Can I try something with you?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. Right. Can you hold that? Okay. And then just point at yourself.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Press record.
Okay.
Right. Could you give me the reason why you left the US? In like the biggest reason why.
Okay.
Right. Just try to say it to the camera. Just like,
Do I give an intro?
yeah, just
Am
start
I-
with like, this is the exact reason that I left the US.
Okay.
Right.
The
And-
biggest reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Try it out.
The biggest reason I left the US is because I did not believe that, or I do not believe that where it is now is the best place in the world to be. I think there's too many problems. I think there's too much work to be done. And Dubai has honestly positioned themselves far ahead of the US.
That was a good first shot.
Okay.
All right. Pause that there.
Okay.
Right. So, how did that feel?
Awkward.
Awkward. Very
Yeah,
awkward. right?
Absolutely.
Very awkward. And that's how these 15 are gonna feel, and you just have to
Okay.
accept it.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to build your personal brand, and I'm guessing the reason you're here is because you do,
Yep.
right? You'll have to go through that phase.
Okay.
All right. And no matter who you pay, no matter who you get, no matter how prepared you are, they will be the same exact thing. You'll hate them. They'll be awkward. And I'm just being direct. You have to go through it.
Sure. Yep.
Right?
No, I get it. And I am ready. I think for the longest time, I'm such a perfectionist
Yeah.
in so many aspects of my
Yeah.
life that has been such a block for me with social
Yeah.
media is because I'm so nitpicky with everything.
Yeah.
Like literally everything. So I need to get past that for
Yeah.
sure.
And honestly, there is no better way than holding the camera just like you did, just recording it, add some text on CapCut, and just
Okay.
post it. And just do it. Like for real, it will give you way better results than if you were to get somebody to edit it, to hold the camera for you, at least until you get comfortable with the camera. And from that point on, you're then able to say, okay, now I need someone who can help me with it. Take
Yeah.
it to the next level.
Okay.
But first is you start. So for the next like at least month, 2 months, 3 months, you post 15 videos a month. All you gotta do is just sit down for an hour, think of 6 stories from the US. All right, things that you will get emotionally attached. People will get emotionally attached to, whether it be loss of life or taxes, issues. Reasons you left again, or like misconceptions you had about Dubai before you came here. Like you've been visiting Dubai for the past, I don't know, 7 years, and every single time it's proved itself better and better. And every single time I go back to the US, it's proved itself worse and worse.
Yeah.
Right? And
That's so true.
Right? So just saying a hook like that will bring people in.
Okay.
Right? And then think of 3 pieces of content that you think people will be divided on in terms of like your target audience would agree with you and then the rest wouldn't. So for example, if you were to say, I don't think we should tax the rich at all, right? They're gonna, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you could say, and then you could like bring some points up. You can even counter, you can say, that's what I hear a lot of people say, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And even like if you don't agree with the point, the hook attracts you, and then you can go against it.
That makes sense. Okay.
Right? So just any 3 pieces of content that you go against, create division, and then your favorite value piece driven content, right? Think of whatever surface level thing people say and just go deep into it.
Okay.
Right? Whether it be types of payment plans and just like, run that down, or compare a mortgage in the US compared to a mortgage here.
Yeah.
And literally break down the numbers.
That's a lot of what my LinkedIn content is. It's not in video format,
Yeah.
it's in written format, but that is a lot of what it is. And when people
Right.
see it written out, that's what actually gets.
So
Quite a
if
lot
you
of
take that
attention.
and translate it, into content, because a lot of the times even the clients you already have will ask you similar questions, and instead of sending voice messages or the actual text, you can send them the link to the video.
Yeah, okay.
Which will build a lot of trust, because then they can see you and then they can see your resume online, which builds a lot of credibility.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
So that is literally what I'd recommend that you go ahead and do over the next 3 months.
Okay.
Any questions to me? Anything you disagree with, or you just say like, I don't want to do that?
Honestly, it's not like, do I want to do this? Am I like so thrilled to do this? No. But do I know I have to? Yes. So yeah, it's really like a personal thing. I do, I completely understand what you're saying with like the polarizing viewpoints and how that can get attention. I have just done my best to stay away from all of that. Yeah. But
you can keep it open-ended again. Like, you don't need to go into it. Yeah. You don't need to say, oh, where the election is rigged. No. Not that deep, right? You could literally just keep it open-ended. Like, you know, let's say California implements a higher tax than it already is. You'd be like, implemented a higher tax than it already is. What do we think about that? Do we think, you know, there's already a lot of homelessness, there's already a lot of this, a lot of that? Yeah. And then just at the end, they say, what do you think? And then they will kind of come in and be like, yeah, well, it's all because of the Republicans, or it's because of the Democrats. And then they will fight. Yeah. You didn't say anything. You didn't even mention the word, right?
It's so true. There's a lot of that in LA right now.
You see.
We literally have a reality star running for mayor.
Well, there you go. And so, yeah, so literally be like, you know, be like, the US is so far gone. The US is so far gone. Like, you know, in California right now, you have a reality star running for mayor.
But it's crazy because I actually would back him at this point. If I was voting back home, I trust in him to do a better job for LA than the current mayor. So
that's you.
I've just never been one to like express my views.
You've said you want to be genuine.
Yeah.
Right? And being genuine doesn't just come with numbers and data. It was like, hey, that's bare minimum. Make sense?
Yeah.
Right? It's like if my agent is lying about numbers and is just surface level, then he's not a good agent in the first place.
That's true.
But how do you differentiate yourself between the good agents is the main question.
Yeah.
With your views and opinions. That's how you differentiate yourself. And yes, you will push people away, but you will be closer to the people who agree with you even more.
Okay.
And they will be more loyal to you than they were to be with somebody who's just surface level. Or, you know, tries to please everybody. Right?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
And then one last piece of tip. Don't treat your marketing as sales, because then your marketing will fail.
Got it.
The same logic you apply on sales cannot be applied on marketing.
Okay.
Right? With sales, you need to be direct as possible, you know, like, hey, you know, you've got to be fast, sharp, all of this. No, marketing's a long-term game. You implement the seed. You know, you beat around the bush as much as possible. The moment they realize that they're being marketed to,
it's done.
You failed.
Yeah.
Right? They just need to feel like you understand them, you've been where they are, and you're offering a helping hand. And the best way to do that is to actually genuinely offer a helping hand.
Yeah, of course.
And then they'll do the rest. They'll come to you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
Hopefully
so much.
this was helpful in a sense.
Super helpful.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Glad to hear that.
Awesome. Thank you.